Viola. I've titled this retold folktale, The Purse. Folktales are simple stories that have been told and retold, passed down by word of mouth from generation to generation. They unify people.
Often when you listen to a folk tale, you'll know where it comes from. At the end of this story, I'll tell you what part of the world it started in.
There were two poor old people that lived in the countryside in two little houses that were side by side. One of them was a wrinkled-up hag who owned a hen. The other was an old-timer who kept a rooster. The woman's hen laid 2 eggs every day. One day her neighbor said, "Please give me one of your eggs so that I can see what it tastes like." The stingy old woman answered, "Beat your rooster with a broom if you want an egg. That's what I do to my hen, and as you see, she gives me 2 each and every day." The old man grabbed a broom and began hitting his animal as hard as he could, but it was to no avail because, as you probably know, roosters don't lay eggs. The aching and offended rooster ran away the instant that the man had turned his back. As he was jogging down the road, leading him away from the old man's house, he spotted a small purse. When he pulled it up, he realized that it contained 2 half-pennies. Moments, or perhaps minutes later, a fine horse-drawn coach appeared trotting toward him. It stopped abruptly just inches before the horses almost trampled the startled rooster. A deep voice bellowed from inside the coach, "Driver, jump down and see what that rooster has in his mouth and bring it back to me." The driver jumped down, grabbed the small purse, and jumping up again offered it to his boss, who, while shoving it into his pocket, ordered the man to quickly drive on. The rooster was furious and started running after them, cackling, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, what right have you? I won't let you be till you return it to me." He managed to continue repeating this and at the same time to run along at the same speed as the horses and the coach. The gentleman, thief, was getting irritated when he spotted a well up ahead. He again called for the driver to stop, get down, and to approach the hysterical rooster. This time he added, "Throw that rooster down into the well." The driver did as he was told, and the rooster, who understood that he could easily drown, began to gulp down water and kept swallowing until the well was dry. Then he flew out of the well and began wildly chasing after the carriage, again chanting, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, what right have you? I won't let you be till you return it to me." By this time, the purse robber, who was, even on his happiest days, bad-tempered, was becoming even more enraged. They were finally entering his estate, and he roared to the cook, "Grab the rooster and boil him in the huge cooking pot that's sitting on the fire in the kitchen." When the rooster realized that he could be cooked alive, he started spitting out all of the water that he had siphoned out of the well. And not only did he put out the fire, but he filled the entire kitchen with water. The cook was shocked when she saw him glide out the door, chanting, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, what right have you? I won't let you be till you return it to me." When the evil man saw the rooster coming toward him, he grabbed it by its wings and as forcefully as he could threw it into a large corral where his 20 prize bulls were grazing. He turned as he saw the mass of animals butting together in the spot where he had thrown the rooster, congratulating himself on the brilliant move to eradicate the bird. His relief only lasted a few minutes, because that was the time it took for the rooster to swallow up every last one of those 20 bulls. By this time, the rooster was as big as a small mountain. He moved slowly and created a shadow that darkened all of the windows in the purse purloiner's mansion. This called for desperate measures. The enraged landowner called together all of his servants, the footman, the chambermaid, the gardener, the butler, and the cook. He ordered them to surround the rooster, and all of them, with the exception of the cook, who was too shaken by the kitchen event to do so, followed his order. He then commanded that they lock him up in the treasure room, thinking that since he was so quick to suck things up, he would certainly choke on a golden coin or a ruby while he was in there, and that would be the end of him. As you might have guessed, the rooster had swallowed all of the money and gems that were stored there just as easily as he had the water and the 20 bulls. In what seemed like no time at all, he had exited the room that used to contain so many treasures and was crowing, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, what right have you? I won't let you be till you return it to me." This was the last straw for the master of the house, who was by now exhausted. The only thing that he wanted was to get rid of the rooster, and so he threw the purse containing the 2 halfpennies out to him. With this, the rooster was content, and he turned away and began moving very slowly, because remember, he was now the size of a small mountain, in the direction of the little house where, up until this story began, he had spent his entire life. You know how quickly gossip spreads, and in that land everyone had heard about the amazing things the rooster had done. He was a hero to all of the chickens and other fowl for miles around, and they all joined him as he moved along. When he finally reached his little house, the old man, who was feeling guilty about having beaten him, ran out with apologies and kissed and tried to hug him, which was impossible because of his unbelievable girth. When the rooster explained that the treasure was inside of him and spit it out, the old man danced a jig. Just as the last of the gold coins and the gems were falling onto the grass, the old woman appeared. "Oh my goodness, what riches your rooster has brought! Could you give me a coin or two?" He answered by telling her to think back to what she had said to him when he had asked her for an egg. And so it was that she went home to beat her hen. The hen, who was not a fan of being maltreated, ran away, which meant that the selfish woman was not only poor, but no longer had any eggs to eat. And so the old man hired her as his chambermaid, and he and the rooster lived from that time on like kings. This is a tale that is told in Romania.